In the last lecture, we had a high-level overview of what is data modeling, what are the different types of relationship two data entities can have, and we also learned about different ways in which we can create relationship between two data entities using embedded document approach or by using referencing approach. Now in this lecture, we will try to understand what criteria we should follow to decide which approach to use for creating relationship between two data entities. So let's get started. Now, to identify which approach to use for defining a relationship between two entities, we are going to check following criteria. First of all, we are going to check what is the type of relationship two data entities have, whether it is one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, or many-to-many relationship. If the relationship is one-to-one relationship or one-to-few relationship, so when I say one-to-few, I mean one-to-many, but that many refers to 1 to 10 documents. So if two entities have one-to-one relationship or one-to-few relationship, then we can go with embedded document approach. But in case of one-to-many relationship, and many means more than 10, or if we have many-to-many relationship, in these two cases, we should always go with reference approach. Then another criteria which we are going to check is whether the related data can increase indefinitely. So if the related data can increase indefinitely, in that case, we will not go with embedded document approach. In that case, reference approach is preferable. And I will explain what I mean by related data can increase indefinitely. Then the third criteria which we are going to check is we are going to check if the related data needs to be read together. If the related data needs to be read together, in that case, we can go with embedded document approach. But if it is not required, then we can go with reference approach. And finally, we will also check if the related data need to be updated independently. If it needs to be updated independently, then embedded document approach is not advised. In that case, we should go with reference approach. So let's try to understand this with few examples. And let's start with two data entities which have one-to-one relationship. So here I'm taking user entity and address entity. So user and address has one-to-one relationship. One user can have only one address, and one address cannot belong to two or more users. It can only belong to one user. So between user and address, we have one-to-one relationship. So since we have one-to-one relationship, embedded document approach is advised here. Also, here the related data will not increase indefinitely. In this example, the related data is the address data. So the parent entity here is the user entity. And for that user entity, the related entity is this address entity. So in this example, the address entity will not increase indefinitely in future. One user will always have a single address. It cannot have more than one address. So related data will remain same. It will not increase indefinitely in future. So since this condition also satisfies, we can go with embedded document approach. Then the third criteria which we need to check is whether the related data needs to be read together. In this example, when we are going to read the details of the user, along with that, we also want to read the address details of the user. So for example, let's say we want to fetch the user data and we want to show it in user profile page. So in the user profile page, along with the name, email, and gender of the user, I also want to show the city and country of the user. I might not want to show the street, but I want to show the city and country of the user. So here, with the user data, I also want to fetch the related address data. So in this case also, embedded document approach is preferred. And finally, the related data do not need to be updated independently. In this example, the address data needs not to be updated independently. Whenever we are going to allow user to update his details with his details like his first name, last name, etc., he can also update his address. So in this example, the related data, in this case the address data, need not to be updated independently very frequently. So in that way also, embedded document approach is preferred. Now let's take another example. Here, we are taking an example of a relation between the user entity and the reviews entity. So here, between the user and reviews, we have one-to-many relationship. One user can have multiple reviews, but one review will always belong to a single user. So here, the user entity is the parent entity and reviews is the child entity. And between the user and reviews, we have one-to-many relationship. So if I want to define this one-to-many relationship using embedded document approach, let's see if it satisfies all the criteria. So in case of embedded document approach, what we will do is, along with the other user details, we are going to create a field called reviews, which will store an array. And in that array, we will store all the related review documents. So this is how embedded document approach works. Now here, between user and reviews, we have one-to-many relationship. And when we have one-to-many relationship, then embedded document approach is not advised. If we have one-to-few relationship, so for example, if one user can make maximum of 10 reviews, not more than that, in that case, we can go with embedded document approach. But here, a user can make unlimited number of reviews. So that's why here we do not have one-to-few relationship, we have one-to-many relationship. And for one-to-many relationship, embedded document approach is not advised. Then the related data will increase indefinitely, because whenever a user will make a new review, that review will get added to this reviews array. So in the future, it is possible that the user has made, let's say, 100 or 1000 of reviews for different products. Then all those 1000 reviews will be added to this reviews array. So this reviews array can grow indefinitely in the future. And that's why here also the embedded document approach is not advised. Then the related data need not to be read together. When we are going to read the details of the user, we might not be interested in fetching all the reviews which the user has made. So for example, if I want to show the details of the user in the profile page, there I will only show the details related to the user, like the user first name, last name, his city, his country, his email, etc. There I might not want to show the reviews which that user has made. So here the related data, in this case this reviews, need not to be read when we are fetching the details of the user. And that's why this third criteria also does not support embedded document approach. And finally, the related data need to be updated independently. Yes, the reviews data can be updated independently. So in this case also, embedded document approach is not advisable. So all these four criteria fails if we use embedded document approach for this scenario. So in this case, we need to go with reference approach. If we go with reference approach, since we have one-to-many relationship, as I mentioned, in one-to-many relationship or many-to-many relationship, reference approach is advisable. So the first criteria is ticked. Then the related data will increase indefinitely when user will add more reviews. So in that case also, since now we are storing a reference of the review document and not the review document itself, even if it increases indefinitely, we are only storing the ID of the review documents. So in this case also, reference approach is advisable. Then the related data need not to be read together. So here, when reading the user details, we might not be interested in fetching the reviews made by the user. So in this case also, reference approach is advisable. And the related data, in this case, the reviews data, can be updated independently. So for this type of relationship, when we have one-to-many relationship and when the related data can grow indefinitely, in that case, we should always go with reference approach. Then let's take another example. Here we are taking an example of many-to-many relationship. Remember that whenever you have many-to-many relationship between two data entities, without thinking of any other thing, you should go with reference approach. So here we have two entities, product entity and categories entity. And the product and categories have many-to-many relationship. One product can have multiple categories and one category can have multiple product associated with it. So here we have many-to-many relationship, and whenever we have many-to-many relationship, we should always go with the reference approach. So in that case, we don't need to check other criteria here. All right. Now the question is, when we are using reference approach, which reference approach we should use? So for example, let's say I have hotel collection and I have room collection. In the hotel collection, I'm storing all the hotel documents, and in the room collection, I'm storing all the room documents. And each hotel will have multiple rooms, but one room will always belong to a single hotel. So between the hotel entity and the room entity, we have one-to-many relationship. And when we have one-to-many relationship, mostly we go with reference approach. And that's what I'm doing here. Let's say I have this hotel where I'm storing the hotel details, and along with that, I'm also storing a reference of all the room documents which belongs to that hotel. And here I'm using child referencing. Here in the parent document, this hotel document is the parent document. So in the parent document, I'm storing a reference of all the related child documents. So for this example, child referencing is advisable. Why? Because whenever we are going to fetch the hotel details, we might also want to fetch the related rooms with the detail. Because let's say we have the hotel page where we are showing the details of the hotel. There, we also want to show the rooms available for that hotel. So whenever we are going to fetch the hotel detail, with that, we are going to fetch the room details. So here, the related data needs to be fetched together. And when that is the case, we should go with child referencing. And also, for each hotel, there will be a definite number of rooms. So for example, one hotel can have 100 or 500 rooms maximum, but it will not have like thousands or 10 thousands of room, right? So this rooms array, this related data will not grow indefinitely. So when the related data needs to be fetched together and the related data will not increase indefinitely, then we should go with child referencing. Now let's take another example. So again, here I'm taking example of user document and review document. Here, again, I'm using child referencing. So in the user document, I'm storing a reference of all the related review documents. Now here, we should not go with child referencing. Why? First of all, the related data, in this case, the reviews data, need not to be fetched together with the data of the parent entity. So when I'm going to fetch the details of the user, with that, I'm not interested in fetching the reviews. And the second thing is, this reviews array can grow indefinitely. We can have thousands or 10 thousands of reviews made by a single user. So this reviews array can increase indefinitely. So in this case, child referencing is not advisable. In this case, we should go with parent referencing. So in parent referencing, the parent document, in this case, the user document, will not have any information about its child document, but the child document is going to store a reference of its parent document. So here, the related data need not to be fetched together, and the related data can also increase indefinitely. So in this case, we are using parent referencing, where we are storing a reference of the parent document in the child document. So I hope now you understand how you should decide whether you should use child referencing or parent referencing. And we are going to see these examples in our coming lectures when we will start implementing data modeling in our Express application. But I hope now you have a theoretical knowledge of how to choose which relationship approach you should use for two data entities. And if you're going with reference approach, then which type of referencing you should choose. Now let's take one more example of two-way referencing. So let's say I have user document and I have hotel document. One user can make One user can book multiple hotels, and one hotel can be booked by multiple users. So here between the user and the hotel, we have many to many relationship. So what we can do is, in the user document, we can store all the hotels. We can store a reference of all the hotels which this user has booked so far. And in the hotel document, we can create a field which will store all the users who have booked a room in this hotel. But instead of doing that, when we have many to many relationship, what we do is we create a junction collection. So in this example, we can create a booking collection. And in that booking collection, we are going to store all the booking documents. And what does the booking document is going to store? It is going to store the user ID of the user who has made the booking, and it is also going to store the hotel ID of the hotel which that user has booked, and also the room ID. So instead of creating two-way referencing, we are creating a junction collection which is going to store a reference to the related entities which has many-to-many relationship. And this is how we should create many-to-many relationship. For many-to-many relationship, we use reference approach and we create a junction collection. And in that junction collection, we create documents which store a reference of related entities. Okay. All right. So in this lecture, I wanted to show you how you can make a decision on which approach to choose for defining relationship between two data entities. And if you are planning to go with reference approach, then how to choose which reference type you should use. So this is all from this lecture. From the next lecture, let's start creating all the data models which we need in our Book My Stay Express app. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.